Good morning. Let's go on a little walk here. I'm going on a walk. You're welcome to join me. Now I know what some of you are gonna say. He's just being a contrarian. A contrarian is somebody who just likes to point out the the opposite point of view, regardless of whether or not it's actually has any legs to stand on its own. They like to see people squirm. And no, I mean, I do like to look at both sides of an issue, but yeah, you call me what you like on this point. But I'm starting to think, and I've thought this way for a while, but I'm trying to put the thoughts all together. Is that people can't really sacrifice? Not in say a literal sense of the word, but more the colloquial sense, where people say, I've sacrificed, meaning that they've like given up things that they want to benefit someone or something else. And while at first layer that sounds like it can happen, I would almost say that you can't really do that. I think in a way, every action comes from a selfish desire. Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing. I think selfishness, as we understand it, it gets a bad rap, just like maybe sacrifice gets a good rap. And maybe these terms shouldn't, because really selfishness can be a positive thing depending on how you define yourself. So if you see yourself as more than just, you as an individual, but if you see yourself as also a parent, a member of a community, a child, a brother, a sister, right? Now, who you are in it has connections to others. And so if you are a part of the human race, that's a part of your identity. And so being selfish as being a member of the human race means that there's a chance that you're going to go out there and do things that are good for the human race because you feel like that's a part of your identity. So it's still in a way a very selfish thing to go out and maybe help other people, because you feel that it's going to contribute in some way to the overall well-being of everybody. Once again, I think that idea isn't a sacrifice, because you're doing it instead of out of a feeling of detriment. You're doing it out of a feeling of love instead of a feeling of guilt, or a feeling of being taken advantage of or something like that. I think the traditional sense of sacrifice, the idea, often makes people put themselves in a position where they have to be either the victim, be victimized, and it creates this enmity or this separation between you and whatever it is that you're sacrificing for. It can often lead to, especially in our interpersonal relationships with each other, it can often lead to a sense of a bit of regret and sometimes a bit of not thinking of the word right now, but where you're just regret, and then regret towards having that relationship with that person a little bit there. So you've got this, I think, interplay with the word sacrifice. And I think if you're trying to go out there and sacrifice, you're trying to hurt yourself for the benefit of others. And I tell you, most people, to prove of how sanctified or how important, or how good you are, and I really think it all comes down to a selfish motivation, because you're trying to maybe in a way manipulate the emotions of others in one way or another. So it's about how you're affecting them, and how you affect how people view you, and not necessarily more of a loving act of what you're doing as more than just you. And so I think no matter what, it's going to be a selfish act. And it's not the traditional. I really don't think people have the ability to actually make a true sacrifice, because it's always coming from a selfish place. It's just whether it's a good kind of selfish, where you're adding to the human experience, or you as a part of the human race are doing something to hurt your own situation to possibly benefit somebody else's or something else's. I'm not seeing how the traditional sense of sacrifice is actually a good thing for humanity. So I say go out there and just do good, because you love yourself, and who you are is a part of the human race, which can be a beautiful thing when we strive to put beauty into it. Well, hey, thanks for going on this walk with me. I've talked long enough, and maybe we'll walk again some other time.